All right, good day, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Appreciate you joining. On behalf of Packet Fusion and RingCentral, I want to welcome you to today's webinar, which is part of Packet Fusion series of helping you see clearly in 2020. Packet Fusion developed this series because they know that today's technology landscape is dynamic and complex, and it can be challenging to sort through the many options in this new normal. Today's webinar is sponsored by us, RingCentral, and our topic today is your business continuity is our #1 priority. We will be presenting solutions to ensure business continuity and optimizing your employees' ability to be successful as a remote workforce. As Paula stated, this presentation is roughly about 45 minutes, and we will have time for questions at the end. But also, we do have that chat window that I'll be monitoring. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to type your questions in there, and I'll be happy to answer them. And now I would like to introduce Packet Fusion CEO, Matt Pigatori. Many of you know that Matt sets the tone and vision for his company. His 20+ years in the telecommunications industry give him a deep understanding of unified communications as a service. Matt will share a few comments, and then I will introduce today's speakers. So Matt, you want to take it?
Sure. I'm actually scared to say it's closer to 30 years in this industry, which is a scary thing. But we're real excited. Thanks for RingCentral, you guys, for helping us with this, or our monthly cadence of these calls. We could have picked so many different topics for benefits of the cloud, and business continuity seemed so perfect for today, and what you guys do per se with that as well. The new normal is what is the new normal? And the new normal to me is, distributed workforce, no centralized, making sure your workforce as well as your processes and all of your applications are able to be administered and being able to be accessed from a remote spot. And so not being confined to a single place anymore is really what the world is getting to.
This is Maria.
List here. Lots of familiar faces on the invite list here. Super excited. RingCentral comes at this in a little different approach. They are best of breed, right? So they have partnered. They have a lot of their own technology, but they've partnered with some of the biggest and best partners out there, the Zooms, the InContacts, to provide their solution. They also have some in-skin stuff that works quite well as well. But what we're finding today, that the collaboration space, the meetings, what we're doing here, the webinars, the one-to-many, or the Meet Me conferences are the new norm. And so while unified communications, traditional dial tone, and voice, video, those kind of things are all very much necessary, but what is really driving the purchases and the digital transformation nowadays is really this ubiquitous integration of the collaboration engine. And what RingCentral does is second to none, and we're going to have a chance to show you that all today. So feel free to reach out to me or anyone in our organization to set up a demo, to get pricing, those kind of things. But we're big fans of what RingCentral is doing. With that, I'll pass it back.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you. So with that being said, you guys have heard her talk for the last 20 or 30 minutes for the folks that have been on for a while, but I want to reintroduce Paula Freeman Clark with RingCentral. Paula is the Senior Channel Sales Training Manager for RingCentral and has extensive experience in channel sales, performance coaching, and virtual learning. So Paula, it's off to you.
That's great. I lost you guys for a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Great. Fantastic. Can you see the screen okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am, it's on your pretty face.
Okay, great. I love it when you can, when technology kicks you out and then you can come back right away. So that's fantastic. Thank you so very much, everybody on the call. We are really delighted to be here and working with Packet Fusion. We've had great success with this particular topic. It was probably about the 70th one of these particular presentations. Had a chance to share with our partners and their customers. But what does this new environment look like? We've all been, here for at least 45, 60 days, had to pivot very quickly. And some of the things that we're hearing from our customers is, when you have to pivot quickly, quite frequently we do a patchwork. We reach out for maybe the free video here, or we've got the messaging platform there, and really making certain that everything is one cohesive unit. I was listening to Matt just a moment ago talk about his years in the industry, and I don't want to tell you how many years I have in the industry, but I will say that I have a lot of experience as a work from home employee. So before I joined RingCentral, I was with AT&T for 13 years. I was a virtual teacher. I taught millennials, people much younger than myself, how to sell product, have solutions, and do sales training. This was a 8-hour day, 3-day course. And so what I will say from this particular environment, there's two things that are very, very crucial and critical. The first one is that you have the right tools for whatever you're doing. Because without the right tools, a work from home environment is very frustrating, and you lose motivation very quickly. The next thing is that the whole culture really shifts. So keeping that motivation through management, finding your right cadence, what that looks like, making certain that the whole ecosystem is together is also very, very important. So we give you some insights that we've seen from the outside world, such as Gartner, and then I'll give you some kind of the personal insights that I've seen as I've grown with this work from home environment. So the statistics that you see on the screen right now, the first two are Gartner. And of course, when you're faced with a whole new challenge in technology, it's great for those larger companies to go out. They survey HR, they survey CFOs to see what's working in their world. And the first statistic is 41% of HR employees are likely, 41% of employees, not HR, are likely to work remotely at least some of the time post-COVID-19. So we're really seeing that, just like Matt said, being able to be productive from anywhere, have the right tools, is really forefront. Technology is really taking that center stage. But CFOs, of course, are looking at it through a very different set of lenses, that finance set of lenses. 74% of CFOs intend to shift some employees to remote work permanently. It means they're going to take them out of wherever they are, and they're not going to go back into that environment. This is really important because having this kind of blend or understanding what that permanent remote workforce really needs in order to stay connected. And that is probably the hardest part with that long term of never going back into an office and being a single contributor is how do I stay connected? But the last statistic is one that was pre-COVID-19, and I really like this one. It's from a company called Flex Jobs. And I know that if I could see oh my gosh, this is such a huge group of folks that are in this room. We were sitting at a huge table together and asked you, and you were raising your hand, how many of us appreciate flexibility, in your job? I'm pretty sure a good 90% at least would have to say, yes, I like to be with folks, but I also appreciate flexibility. It used to be a perk, but now I think it's more than a perk. It's going to be a necessity. When whatever that new normal looks like, we just know that the old normal will never be the same. So what we're really seeing from our customers is they're really reimagining their experience. What does it look like? What do we have today? How can we be more productive? What devices is my team using, and which ones do they appreciate the most? Some really love to work from a handset, some from a tablet, some from a PC. So really making certain that you can work from any device, any mode, and anywhere. It's got to be easy to buy. Can you guys hear the echo, or is that just me?
I heard. I think I might have gotten that line muted, though.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Monique. So easy to buy, no complicated systems. It has to be simple to use. And there's nothing more frustrating than being, working from home and not having your IT team next to you, or that person you can reach over, that cube, to say, hey, well, have you seen this before? Easy to use, definitely easy to manage from an IT perspective. But I think where people get hung up, if you haven't started a cloud conversation yet, is understanding the trustworthy and the reliable piece here. So really having the SE, getting that professional conversation. What is it that keeps you up at night? What is it that you could be thinking about that you need? Right, so that you're feeling really comfortable. So the next is global and open, and we'll talk a little bit more about open here in just a second when we see the demo. So things to consider when you're thinking about, your entire team. And actually, let me ask this in the chat box, since we've had so many of us use the chat box. How many folks out there currently have remote work workers that you're already working with, and how many of you this is going to be new for you? So I'd love to hear in the chat box. Oh, thank you so much. How many of you currently have brand new work from home, remote workers, and how many of you this is something that you're familiar with? I'd love to hear some yes, it's me, or in that chat box. Because we definitely see this as a new shift. So understanding what their environment, thank you, Jose. Yep, perfect. So Jose says existing work from home, but a much larger population now. A lot of some new remote users, absolutely. So we're seeing this whole new ecosystem. So things that we need to understand is, what does that work and learn from home environment look like for them? So that's going to be important. Perfect. So ensuring this, there's got to be a lot of continuity. Jonathan says this is all new for us. So we're really seeing a blend here, right, within this room. I will say it's important to understand what the environment looks like. Do they have a place where you can be comfortable? Do you have the right tools? What does broadband look like? Who else uses it? Is there any way to get additional data? Those types of things. So you have those great conversations with your teams. But continuity is the key. And I'm going to tell you this because even when you work for a massive technical, technology company that has, if you have too many applications, everybody likes something specific that they've used in the past, right? And so with AT&T, they acquired a lot of different companies. Everybody brought their own applications, and none of them talked to each other. So it was very difficult to break down those silos and those walls. Continuity is critical in a work from home environment, understanding that everybody's using the same set of tools, the tools work properly, it's very easy to get a hold of people. But it's also important on that outside, that customer experience from your customers. What does it look like when they try to get a hold of you? And can our customer experience teams, our help desk, are they using the same software as everybody else? So that continuity is big. Hassle-free is so big. So we've got enough things to think about. How do we keep technology not on the forefront? I'm going to do these really quickly, but man, we've got a 2-page document that can help as a checklist. If you guys are interested in that, I'm certainly going to make sure, Matt, you and the team get this checklist as to what this environment looks like and how Packet Fusion can help. But that employee environment, what is their hardware today? Is it transferable? If the least common denominator is a personal phone, can you turn that into a device that has the right kind of security, that can also send unlimited size emails? I mean, it's making certain that they have all of the right tools. Data, do they have the right data? If it's noise canceling headphones, if it's HD quality cameras, if it's a light that's behind, what is it? Is it a great ergonomic chair? What is it that they're going to need to really be productive in this new world? But the enabling technology is the software piece. And this is, honestly, I've been with RingCentral for a year now. I'm a little bit of a workaholic. I will tell you that I have never been more productive in my entire career than I am now. And that's just because everything is so simple and easy to get a hold of my teammates. It's easy to share files. I'm not searching through emails. I'm not getting rid of emails. So software is going to be super important. The type of integrations that you can add to that software are important. How much security do you need within that? Whether they're at home, they're remote, wherever they're going, and training. So the whole ecosystem, is it easy to use? How do I train my people on it? How do I get new people up and running? Those are things to think about. And that's where you can talk to Packet Fusion and really have those good, deep conversations. Management role absolutely changes. You're not going to be able to see everybody all the time. How do I know people are getting things done? And really and truly, it's really, are they getting things done, and not really micromanaging how it gets done. And that's a big role, is knowing that people are going to have other commitments. They've got children, they've got other things that may get in the way at home. But as long as you have a great project management system to where you can get through that. Clearly defined expectations. Does the software provide analytics on how tools are being used? Video, messaging. I'm going to have Carlos. He'll probably be able to show you some of those analytics as well. and evolving needs as we move through this and we get this work from home kind of situated as to what the next right steps are. Have you surveyed your employees? We recently received a survey. I was very grateful. It had 13, 14 questions on what we wanted, what was working, what wasn't working. Just really got our thoughts down, and really appreciated that to see what that next right steps are. You can do peer-to-peer groups, you can do contests, but you will have employees that will appreciate the flexibility and productivity and work from home. Quick question in the chat box. I'm going to change slides. How many of you feel like you're definitely busier or more productive now in this kind of new environment? Write that in the chat box. Are you finding that you're more or less productive? Way busier, Jose says. That would, Jose, I'm right there. David's got a little bit of mixed. Yep. Depending on what the environment looks like. And sometimes it's hard to shut down, right? Because you can work 24/7. I think that's a piece that's going to be very important for HR, is to help your employees understand having that check-in time, those, are you taking breaks? Because, yeah, find yourself working longer hours, because everything is so convenient and so easy, especially with video, being able to do a phone call, do video. Video is phenomenal in these times where we are very social creatures. We love video. Here's a couple of things to remember about video. Know what your environment looks like, number one. Number two is if you've got more than 16 people on a screen and you're trying to get a message across that's very important, sometimes it gets lost with looking at all of the different faces and things that are going on. So just know that that can happen. There is also a little bit of what we kind of call video burnout. So if you're somebody that needs to be on all the time, just know that's going to take extra energy. And managers, make sure you do welfare health checks with those folks. Make sure that they're all good. Have a backup plan. Technology is not perfect. Oh my goodness, I wish it were, but it is not. So does somebody else have the deck? Is there somebody else who can take the lead? Having a backup plan is important. And having fun. Oh my goodness, right now there's no better time is to have fun. So we're doing a lot of things to have fun, actually quite a few. Is there something that you notice that your groups are doing that you have found that's really fun? We'd love for you to write that in the chat box. We've done the virtual coffee breaks, bringing your favorite mug. We've done high school photos. I think college photos are next. Happy hours, mixology classes, games, pets. We have all of these different chat groups now that have pets so that you can share those. But having fun is really, really important. That's a really great, virtual Cinco de Mayo. Fantastic. Thank you, Jose. I have to tell you, we are very social, and knowing that we do like to be together. We like to see each other's families, and those are really important. And calling people by name, just so we know that they're there. Chrissy, thank you so much for adding your 2 cents, and James too, and Perry. So really finding a lot of different ways to encourage participation. I'm going to go through the next couple slides quickly because I want to get to the demo portion here. So we have a couple of links, and I might have, Josh, you have the deck. Would you mind putting these 2 links, if you'll open up the deck and put these in the chat box for us? These are just some great resources here. So just in case, and we might be able to, Matt, I might be able to send these over to you, and you can send those links in your follow-up email as well if people are interested in learning a lot more. So you also want to think how we're using video in things for your sales teams, human resources, marketing, support, engineering, professional services. What does a unified, collaborative, one system platform look like, and how can everybody really, really benefit from this? Human resources, we're still hiring. We're definitely seeing, folks doing interviews. Kevin, you probably did this, did your interview through video chat. So just know that it's definitely the next best thing to being there. And we don't want to leave out our customer experience crew. We understand that we've got call centers. These can also be remote. There's a lot of great analytics that goes behind this. Inbound, outbound, digital. Knowing that platform is open to accept your integration, salesforce.com, and those 5 nines of reliability, knowing that you're really going to have that system up and running all the time. Security is always top of mind. It should always be top of mind. I'm not going to go into detail with all of these brands that are on the screen, but what I'd love for you to talk to Matt and the team about is if there's a specific type of compliance or certification that your company needs, what keeps you up at night when you think about security, have those conversations. They can help you really figure out specifically what you need in order to feel that all of your information is definitely secure. It's an utmost priority here at RingCentral. We spend more on research and development than all of our cloud other competitors combined. Makes us definitely #1 in the space. So with that said, I'm going to actually get ready to turn this over to, is it Carlos? Carlos, are you going to join me?
I am, yes.
Awesome.
And ready to share my desktop when you're ready.
Perfect, Carlos. So Carlos is going to walk you through what the platform actually looks like. I could show it on the screen, but it's so much more fun, right? When you can actually see it. So I'm going to stop and share. Carlos, let's see if this stops. Come on. It's holding on. There we go. And it is all yours, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you. Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, you look great.
Awesome. All right. So wanted to jump in and do an introduction to a lot of the tools that Paula is referring to are going to be, it's important that they would be easily accessed, right? We have to have, it's great that we've got a place that we have unified communications where we could send messages, we could send texts, we could send faxes and phone calls and create video meetings. But having one application where I go to where I could really bring all that together cuts back on the adoption and really increases the employees' efficiencies. So what I have here is the unified application. And inside of that, it is a soft phone. So this is my endpoint. And one of the great things I love about the software is notice I've got a call log here that has all the different people I've communicated with, but there's no reference to whether or not this call was made from my hard phone at my desk or if it was made on my soft phone or whether I made that call from my mobile device. So we're kind of removing the geography element out of the communication piece. Likewise, when I reach out to individuals, I'm not looking to see is this their mobile number or their desk number. I'm simply able to hover over and I could one button touch to call Jennifer. I can start a video call with Jennifer here, or I also can just message her. Now, because Jennifer is an internal employee, that message is going to be a GLIP message. But if it were an external party, notice it switches over automatically to text and says, hey, that's going to be an SMS text. So having the ability to make those phone calls and fax with the true single number reach. So if I send you a text message or even a MMS or picture message, you're only going to see my business number. And that's really nice to have just one phone number on your business card. That's the way that you reach out and communicate with individuals, makes it very easy to access. We also have the ability to do recordings, whether that's full-time or ad hoc recording. That's included as well. When it comes to voicemail, one thing I love is that we do have the visual voicemail. This particular one I've always saved because as you can see here, Todd says, hey girl, this is Todd, give me a call, goodbye. Todd doesn't usually refer to me as hey girl. And this goes to show that we do not have 100% on that transcription service. It's closer to 80 to 85%, but that is on par with the industry leaders in that area. It really gives you the ability to get a voicemail. You look down, you're able to catch the gist of what it is that message is about and decide if you need to excuse yourself out of the current meeting that you're in and get back to that person. So we transcribe the first 60 seconds of every call. Faxes are all done in one place here as well. It's very nice to be able to just come up and say, hey, I'm going to do a new interaction. That's going to be either a new message. I can create a team, which I'll go over here shortly. The ability to send a text, a fax, or start a video call, or just send an invite to someone to say, maybe they're not yet using RingCentral. The great thing about it is they could leverage these messaging features without having any cost to them. So in this particular case, if I'm going to send a new fax, I just click on that. I put a phone number in, I drag and drop the file where the fax goes, right? So done very simply and easily. And then they, of course, are received right in the client as well. In this case, it was received on a separate window. So here's the PDF that came through, making it very easy to interact with the faxes again. And then when it comes to the actual text messages, this allows you to have that one call log again, where my interactions with people that are listed up here makes it very easy for me to come into and allows me to search against that as well. The other piece I really love is the navigation bar. So oftentimes when I'm communicating, maybe it is a text message that I'm sending through, and I want to go back to my previous place that I was at, whether that was a fax or voicemail. Notice I'm able to navigate through the different areas that I was communicating with, and that includes the messages as well. All right. So from the phone element, we're able to move over to the video piece. We're seeing part of this now. This is RingCentral video that was scheduled from the actual client, or it could be scheduled if you're using Office or Google. We could have native plugins that go in and allow you to go ahead and schedule those meetings like you normally would. And you push a radio button that says include RingCentral, and then you get the information to just one button touch to join. So very easy to either start, schedule, or join a meeting directly from the client as well. Notice if I were to have recorded any of the meetings that I have access to that library here as well, and that's recorded in the cloud. The last piece we have here is the messaging element, and this is where I can do one-on-one messaging with individuals, or I could do team messaging with individuals. I also have the ability to do a @ mention demo. Please say hi. Right, so I'm able to call attention to the entire team. We can see there's 49 members of this team. Off to the right here is the shelf. This does automatic organization of any files that are shared. By the way, no limit on the size of file, no limit on how many files that you're actually sending. So it makes it very easy to automatically have these things organized for you. We can see Gary showing that we also support GIFs or GIFs, whichever way you want to pronounce that. And you also have a rating for those GIFs as well if you wanted to control that piece. So off on the shelf, having the ability to look at all the different images that have been shared. We could also use it for task management. That's going to be off to the side. But what's most popular too is the fact that links. Anytime someone sends a link, we automatically categorize that and file it for you on the shelf here to give you easy access to that messages. All right. The other piece to it too is the fact that we've got the team messaging. So the fact that I can go ahead and escalate this directly into a video meeting or up to a 1,000 party audio conference call. That's included with every license as well, and makes it very easy to one button touch to create and communicate in that fashion. Other pieces I'm able to do is I can go ahead and filter this down and say, show me only messages that I haven't gotten to, right? Everyone's busy. You are all taking an hour out of your day for this meeting. We appreciate that, but your work is going to back up behind. This allows you, as soon as you get back to your desk or get back to your normal business, you can go ahead and say, show me just unread messages and let me get caught up with what my discussions have been, right? Including the ability to filter out and say, just show me my @ mentions up here at the top, where I could say, just show me my @ mentions, and then I'll be able to respond to those according as well. All right. So any questions so far on how this client works? Next, I'm going to transition over to the mobile version of the client, and then we'll go ahead and show some analytic pieces.
Carlos, you're amazing. Nope. Well, please add them in the chat box.
All right.
I'm stealing you for all my future presentations.
Yeah, I really dig how people are saying hello here. It's really fun.
All right. So the next piece here is going to be the mobile client, and I'm just firing that up on another screen. I'm going to drag that over. Now I'm showing this to you on a Mac. However, we are compatible with the Windows platform. And I'm also showing you on a, this is my iPhone off to the right, but this also could be an Android as well. The look and feel, it is geared towards the mobile, but the great thing is everything down to Todd's favorite message of, hey girl, being here, my text messages, any faxes, I could send and receive faxes from here. One of the things I found very powerful is not only can I one button touch to join a meeting, but notice I have that green bar there. I actually have the ability to move this video meeting down to my mobile device. So if I need to hit the road, we get out of the COVID-19 stay-at-home order, I'll be able to go ahead and hit that button. I can move the meeting to my mobile device and go ahead and hit the road using a hands-free device. I could also host a meeting directly from the client as well. So what it's doing is, again, extending the fact that the mobile workplace is not necessarily tied to just being in your home office. It's also something that you do from the road. It could be something that you're doing while you're sitting in the lobby, or maybe you're posted up at a Starbucks. Just having access to your smart device allows you to have that same communication efficiencies that you had when you were sitting at your desk. All righty. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and bring up our analytics page. I didn't mention this, but like Matt, was saying that, hey, it's 30 plus years or coming up on 30 years. I stopped counting at 25. So I'm 25 years in the industry, but 12 of those years were actually spent in IT. And I know that one of the challenges that we have when we're supporting an organization is getting that person inevitably stops you in a hallway, or they get you while you're, filling up water and say, hey, Carlos, you know what? Last week I had a call, it got real scratchy, and then it dropped. And they give me this blank stare, like that was enough information for me to help them. What we've done is RingCentral has 2 SLAs, one that's tied to uptime, and that's 5 nines of availability. And then we also have one that's tied to actual call quality. And we're saying that every single phone call that's being made should be better than toll quality on every single call. Now, we don't just throw that SLA out there. It is financially backed. And then we also give you a tool where you can see every single phone call that's been made. So I can see here that 96.9% were good quality, and then 1.1% were moderate, and 1.9% were actually poor. And I'll dig into that here shortly. We're also going to show you, we're analyzing every single phone call, endpoint to endpoint, upgrade, or ingress and egress, so upload and download. And then we're able to see which carriers, who are your top ISPs that you've seen. In this particular case, this is today, right? These are the top 5 ISPs that my calls have traversed. Here are the top 5 endpoints. We talk about transitioning from having hard phones on your desk to using a mobile app or using your desktop app. And this shows you the performance based on each one of those. And then also the different networks you might hit, whether it's Wi-Fi, Ethernet, 4G. And I love this. Every single month we have 3G calls. It blows me away. This is real data, by the way, that we're looking at. So let's go ahead and go back to that scenario where I was stopped in the hallway and they said, oh, I had a call that was really, poor quality, got scratchy, and then it dropped. So I can go ahead and scroll back and look at the individual that had stopped me in the hallway. I could find their record. I've got this zoomed in to show me just the actual poor quality call. So I could say, oh yeah, Bridget, here's the call that you were talking about. And again, A and B side of the conversation. So everything on Talia's side, everything was great. And then we go to Bridget's side of the conversation. Everything from the client to server or the upload was fantastic, 4.2. Then we say, ooh, from the server to the client, the download, there was something that was really bad here. So let's dig into what was bad about it. Well, we could see there was 50% packet loss. That's going to cause a problem. The jitter jumping up to 300% or 300 milliseconds is going to be a problem. And then we share the details about the IP address, what the location was, who the ISP was, what the endpoint was. We even show you the codec. And then here's where I really start to love, where we could start to take action. Not only are we showing you that they were using a soft phone, but we're showing you the version. They're using Windows 10 and the actual version of Windows 10 that they were using. We could see this went over Wi-Fi, and then I'm showing you the CPU and RAM utilization at the time of the call. All of these are tools that are going to help you to determine what is causing an issue, whether that's your ISP, maybe there's something on the network, or maybe there's something with their individual endpoint. If it's a problem with an ISP, you could go ahead and copy this information to a clipboard, paste it, and go take up that information directly with the ISP, right? And that's an internet service provider, by the way. So with that, we can see we've got some very powerful tools. This is not available just to RingCentral employees or the support desk. This is actually a visibility that we give to all of our customers. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass things back over, unless there's any questions specifically about.
I have something,
speech.
Carlos. This is
Sure.
Paula. So is there a way that I can find out like what tools my employees really are using as far as like video or meetings or,
Yeah.
you know?
There
I've got a
is,
couple
because Yeah, that's a great point. So we do have this area. We could see this is in beta. It's final stages of beta, but it's an open beta, so open for all of our customers. And this gives us the utilization. So let's find out what kind of tools our employees are using. We're able to break down, their messages and how much and who it is that's using the messaging component, how much video, and what are the the teams that are really embracing this technology versus a lot of times we want to lower that travel bill. Maybe we're going to cut back on the Southwest points. And then, of course, we could see and break down the utilization from a phone perspective as well. Right. And this gives us the KPIs right across the top. We're not force feeding them to you. You could select which of these are important to you so that you could filter down and only see that important data that you're chasing to see how much this is actually being embraced by the organization. And then, of course, I could download this report for visibility. I also can take control how big of a window I'm looking at. Maybe I want to see the last 30 days. And now I'm looking at, the data that's from that scope as well.
Excellent.
All right.
Man.
So I will stop sharing here and pass things back over to you, Paula.
Okay, no worries. Do we have any, Carlos, that was amazing. You are a fabulous presenter. Thank you so much. I know we asked you at the very last minute to join.
My pleasure.
Does anybody have any questions for Carlos? I know we had one that looked like it was going to be a little bit, I'm going to ask this one just because, and we don't have to get into great detail, but quite frequently when we talk about integrations, we get the question as far as Microsoft Teams goes. Do we integrate with Microsoft Teams? Do we not? Do you have a super quick answer for that, or should I open?
Yeah, we do. No, I mean, you opened a great can, right?
Okay.
Because we do have open APIs that allows us to tie into a lot of the different softwares that you use in your environment, whether that's a CRM or a homegrown system that you have that you want to have integration to, right? So we do have open APIs, so that's a very big plus for us. And then that also lends us to do integrations and do some out-of-the-box stuff where we have integration to Teams, we have integration to Outlook and calendaring and things of that nature. So yes, we absolutely do have those things in place. And then we also have an entire network over, there's hundreds of partners that we've worked with that we have in our app gallery that allows you to go ahead and select and set up those integrations for whether that be your CRM and other pieces. So we've got some Salesforce tools that allow you to go ahead and use a dialer directly out of that CRM page and adds a lot of efficiencies there as well.
Excellent.
Does that address the question for you, Paula?
Yeah, that did for me. I know that we just get that question quite frequently, what integrates, what does not. All right, let's see if we can get this going. All right, so Carlos, thank you so much. Do we have anything that came up in the chat box? I'm going to squeeze through some of these slides. I'm so sorry. Very quickly. I just have a couple more. We're going to tie this up with a bow. That was really quick. So last but not least, we'd like to let you know that there are some, if you have more questions, we want you 100%, to get with Packet Fusion and Matt and the team. We are offering a few, for those folks that are frontline, ways to try the product itself, 90 days, no strings attached, healthcare, schools, K through 12, community colleges, public sector organizations, news and media organizations, nonprofit. Please talk to the Packet Fusion team. Also, contact center, customer care, help desk. We're RingCentral Customer Engagement free seat license for 90 days. Check that out. Get really deep into the analytics. See what we have to offer there. 25% off of service and devices for all nonprofits. This goes on all the time. And Q&A. I think we just had a moment for that. And then Matt, we've got just a couple of minutes left. We'd love to see if anybody wants to unmute your line and ask a question, or Matt, if you have something that you'd like to tie this up with a bow at the very end for us, we would love that.
I think, we're big fans of what you guys are doing. There's a lot of cool technologies out there. Ask Packet Fusion, our team, to come in and do a full assessment of what you guys do, how you do it, why you're doing it. And, our consulting services, which are provided at no charge to you, we will come in and assess all of your cloud strategy, one of which is the unified communications. And from what we field, unified communications is the biggest bang for your buck to get you on your path to your digital transformation. So we're here for you. We'd love to come in and provide our services, and have come in with RingCentral with us and provide as much value as we can.
All right. With that said, please, everybody on the call, thank you for this hour. Stay safe, stay secure, stay connected. We appreciate you so very much, and we look forward to chatting with you again soon.